This is the Rich Eisen Show.
How about sexiest bald man alive?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
To choose Prince William? What's going on? He's not fully bald. I need the names and I need the email addresses of these people.
Today's guests, Super Bowl champion quarterback Drew Brees from the Fox comedy The Moody's, Dennis Leary, plus host of Peacock's Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Okay, everybody. Okay. Welcome to this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. I am your humble host sitting here in Los Angeles, California, sitting here on Peacock, or you're listening to us on Sirius XM Channel 211, the NBC Sports Audio home, and also this Rich Eisen Show radio affiliate on terrestrial radio dial of yours. We appreciate you taking us in. Good to see you over there, Chris Brockman.
Hey, Rich, what's happening, man?
Mike Del Tufo in his usual spot. Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you. And TJ Jefferson, good to see you right there.
What up, Rich?
By the way, for those watching on Peacock right now, the yellow slicker / jacket that TJ is wearing. That's a choice. That's a choice.
It's a Michael Jackson security jacket.
I got it. What?
From I brought it after watching The Last Dance. You know, John Michael was the guy, and all of his security guys wore these special Michael Jordan security jackets.
Okay, very good.
That's what we got.
Very good. It's very bright.
It's very bright. I might have to
adjust your sets.
Now looking at it, I'm probably going to take it off on the camera because I didn't see this beforehand. For our radio viewers, it's bright. Like imagine the sun. So once we cut away, I'm going to take this off. But
I'm seeing tracers out of my right eye. Actually,
really bright. I could see it from way over here. It's like,
all right, this was an experiment and it failed.
It's caution. It's called. It's a call.
Hey, you know what,
so TJ Jefferson came
buddy?
today dressed as a caution signal. Don't worry. All righty then. So we're down to it's still the Elite Eight, even though there's just 6 teams now. Should we say this? Do we need
Super
like a
6?
I guess so. You know what I mean? Like because then we'd need something after the first. Day of action in the Sweet 16, right? Down to the Dirty Dozen.
The Fantastic 48 after the first round. I mean, I don't know.
And so on, right? I mean, it'd be very difficult. Exactly. Very difficult. So we'll still call it the Elite Eight. One of our favorite listeners on the Rich Eisen Show is sitting there in El Paso. So we say good morning to our friend Manny on that front, or good afternoon to Manny on that front. He called in because he's a diehard El Paso resident, and he said that he wanted no Texas teams to win the NCAA tournament because he still wants Don Haskins' famed Glory Road team to still be the only Texas team to win it all. And we didn't check his facts. Is that really the fact? Like Texas never won it? Texas A&M's never won it.
Yeah, Houston never won.
Houston never won. Not even
in a team. So yeah, no, that
sounds
right.
His accuracy is checked. Well, yesterday, the action last night assured us of having one team from the state of Texas in the NCAA final that is set for next Monday, and that's because Baylor knocked off Arkansas, holding on to their halftime lead, and then Houston finally dispatched with Oregon State, turned back into a pumpkin last night, that Cinderella story. Houston wins 67-61. Baylor wins by 9, meaning we're going to see a state of Texas represented in the national championship.
How about that?
That's going to happen.
Wow.
And so there's that. The state of Texas will be represented in the men's basketball tournament. Unfortunately for Baylor, the women's team got thoroughly hosed against UConn last night on a shot that clearly needed a whistle being blown. And Dejanay Carrington, who was phenomenal against Michigan. I watched Baylor in overtime against my alma mater. I guess the ref said it was all ball. Instead of all ball, it's all arm and elbow.
And face.
And face. I mean.
Wow. That's the no call?
That's the no call.
It was pretty bad, man.
Oh, my God.
I understand let them play, but come on. You got to make that call.
That's brutal.
I don't know. You're going to look at Gino? Who knows? It's brutal. It was terrible.
That's brutal.
I know. The only thing more brutal was Kim Mulkey's mask, which, by the way, is that should be a new Twitter account, right? Her mask. But she had every right to be so upset about that. So, unfortunately, it's a win and a loss for Baylor. The women getting hosed and the men getting into the Final Four tonight. 2-1 seeds going at it.
All right, let's do it.
And the 2-1 seeds are taking on Los Angeles.
Let's go for it.
Gonzaga taking on USC this evening. And my alma mater taking on UCLA. Trying to 8-clap UCLA back to Westwood. UCLA trying to continue on. Now they are the Cinderella story. UCLA is a Cinderella story.
Right.
Out of UCLA, Cinderella out of Westwood. Again, no team's ever gone from the first four as far as this team has gone to go a first four team, remove the first and put the word final in. Oh, my God. From first four to final four. That's what UCLA could do and set history in that regard tonight. My alma mater standing in the Bruins' way, and USC standing in Gonzaga's way to a Final Four that everybody put them in to because they haven't lost a game all year. So Los Angeles will be tuned in from 4 o'clock local all the way through to the end of the Michigan-UCLA
Rich,
game.
just to be accurate, someone tweeted this out. I just confirmed it. VCU in 2011 played in the play-in game and went to the Final Four.
Oh, is that right?
It is.
Okay, so great. UCLA can't make history tonight.
Are you guys like?
Hopefully, they won't make history today. I did not know.
I didn't either. Someone
that was
tweeted us yesterday.
I assume that was Shaka Smart's VCU team.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that was a great team.
Yeah,
they were fun.
All right, from first four to Final Four. I thought that's never happened. Okay,
I was with you. I thought that as well.
Are you guys like me and you're a little like thrown off by like the dates now with the tournament? Because normally we didn't have a Final Four game on a Tuesday, right? So
our team to make the final. Yes.
Yeah. So like normally, these dates are like
normally this would already have been played.
Yeah. So it's just like I'm thrown off.
I think
it's great. I said this yesterday. It's like during the regular season we just had the National Football League. Tuesday, Wednesday football. Let's go.
When the Saints played the Vikings on Christmas Day on a Friday, that meant every day of the week had an NFL game on it because of all the craziness. By the way, Drew Brees is our first guest joining us in about 13 minutes' time. I do want to just give a little bit of a pause here before we get to the football aspect of this opener. Because I do want to, and it's not to pay, homage to myself with the sign that's right here on my desk in Best Dad Ever. But these are just facts that I'm about to spit.
Gigantic butt.
This is just truth that I'm about to lay out for everybody. This is an indisputable portion of our lives here on our show. Checking the Rich Eisen Show bracket. No, we're not Dan. We don't have stars all over the place as part of our bracket. We don't have Michael Douglas part of our bracket.
We didn't want that.
Well, no, we do. Who wouldn't want to be in a bracket with Michael Douglas? My gosh.
I've been trying to get Jodie Foster in our fantasy football league.
Short of all that, I reach for just the immediacy of it all. It's us here and my children at home. All right. Our 10-year-old at home, Cooper Evan Eisen, is kicking everybody's ass. And not everybody here in the studio. Chris, would you like to read out the percentile my 10-year-old son Cooper is in the entire ESPN league?
Yeah, 99.8.
He's got, if Gonzaga and Michigan, if the 1 seeds win tonight, my 10-year-old son Cooper will nail the entire Final Four. He had Houston cutting down the nets as they did last night.
He's on fire.
He had Houston cutting down the nets against Loyola of Chicago. He was almost right about that.
What?
Yes.
This is insane.
Cooper is a savant.
And he's the only one in, no makeup this year. Chris Brockman is in DFL right now. And Adam Chudwin, our call screener, chose Illinois. Everyone else is Gonzaga. If Michigan wins the entire tournament, Coop can do some damage in the entire ESPN community writ large.
So there's over 10 million ESPN brackets.
Yes.
Cooper is in 26,000th place.
Now, I don't want to go home to my children and say, hey, 26,000th place is great for you.
I mean, it's good.
You know what I mean? Like, we want them to strive.
I get it, but out of 10 million?
Scheme of thing, 10 million, that's fantastic.
That's pretty good.
That's like being in the top 2 out of 10 people.
I mean,
if we went over Chris's last 5,
no, I think he prefers to talk about my son right now.
Bottom.
Yeah, no, I'm down with pumping Coop up here.
I also like, Rich, the fact that your kids came for us. Like they put bullseyes on us, and they said, we're coming for you guys, and they're taking us out.
That's the mother, and that's the mother's side of things right there.
But don't knock Taylor. She
No.
should move ahead.
No,
she's got 1380 total.
Tay is awesome.
Tay moves up.
Tay is awesome.
That's the name of
Me
Well, at any rate, so
we're moving up.
these are the ways that we cover the NCAA tournament on the Rich Eisen Show.
Yeah, why not?
I want to unpack this before we get to Drew Brees. So John Lynch, the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, and head coach Kyle Shanahan met with the media for the first time since the 4th of January. It's been a while. Since the brass of the 49ers met with their local beat writers. And boy, do they have a lot to talk about. Now, having flipped 2 first-rounders in future drafts and swapped their first rounder this year and a third rounder this year to move up to the 3rd overall spot. And you know, it's clearly for a quarterback. You don't trade all of those future draft capital pieces for anything but a quarterback. And as we all know, they have one in Jimmy Garoppolo, who's got a couple years left on a contract and 2 years removed from playing and starting in the Super Bowl for this team. And clock's ticking, and everybody has been reporting that the Niners are intending to keep Garoppolo because they can afford it and the cap, and then bring in this quarterback and have Garoppolo show him the ropes, basically turn him into a Kansas City version of Alex Smith, a San Francisco version of a Kansas City Alex Smith. And so here's what John Lynch had to say about it yesterday.
We went to ownership, said, hey, things are looking good. We'd like to make this move, but we also don't want to say goodbye to Jimmy. We think he's shown we can get to a Super Bowl with him. We can play at a high level. And we don't think those two things have to be mutually exclusive. And so the opportunity to trade up and possibly get a guy who we're very high on and is I think some positive things are happening this offseason for. That's kind of the plan we arrived at, and we're very excited. It was a stated goal that we needed to come out with the quarterback position being stronger this year, and I think we've put ourselves in a opportunity to make that happen with this move.
That's John Lynch, the general manager. Normally, Mike, I would turn to you and say, can you hit the drop of, that drop? Do you have that over there, Mike?
What were they really thinking?
And I would say, what were they, what does he really intend to say? Because, any general manager will say, okay, we love this guy, but, we'll and we intend to use him, but, that means come at me with an offer for him and he's yours.
Yeah.
Right? Except the coach pretty much said the same, actually said it. Listen to what Kyle Shanahan had to say.
We're in a situation where when you bring in a starting quarterback, when you bring in a rookie quarterback, to me it's always better, especially on the team that you have. If you got a veteran starter there already who you like and you're comfortable winning with, that's usually the direction you want to go, and not throw someone else out into the fire until they're fully ready. And that's the situation we're at. If you look at free agency, if it goes the other way around and you do things differently, maybe. But right now, and Jimmy, it's going to be hard to find a quarterback that gives us a better chance to win than Jimmy right now, especially even a rookie in the draft. So that's what you look into. Now, if someone wanted something for that and it can make your team better in a lot of other ways, you listen to that, but it also depends on how good you feel about that rookie. And we're not there yet right now. And odds are we probably won't be. That's why we're happy that we don't have to be that way. We got a guy in here who we know we can win with, a guy that our players love, that we love. And we're excited to have him this year, and we're excited to have a hell of a quarterback right behind him, learning from when the time's his.
All right, 2 things. First things first, for the radio audience, Kyle Shanahan's hair is freaking perfect. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like it's Joe Flacco elite hair. And the beard is tight, and he's got a little bit of the salt and pepper looking right now. I say to Kyle Shanahan, 2 salutes, sir. My gosh.
Yep.
Well done. Living well.
Yeah. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
The NFC West has the best looking coaches.
Okay, yeah, all
top to bottom.
Well,
Even Pete Carroll,
the world's oldest teenager.
That's
right?
exactly
right. And then
Sean McVay.
Oh my gosh,
stud.
Right,
Cliff Kingsbury.
James Bond.
Right,
and Kyle Shanahan.
I mean,
what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean that's a deep pool with a heck of an undertow. If you're going to be coming in the NFC West,
whoever replaces Pete in Seattle.
By the way.
Yes,
outstanding. Yeah, they better. There's a very high bar.
Bar.
Excellent analysis.
Thank you.
That's very interesting.
Now, secondly, have you ever heard a more honest answer from a head coach in the National Football League?
That was amazing.
It's as simple as, hey, tough to find a guy who's going to give us a better chance to win than Jimmy G. Certainly when you're bringing in a rookie. If it's free agency, it's different. Yeah, we went for free agency and brought somebody and paid him a ton of money. See you later, Jimmy G. But we're doing it through the draft. Who wants to actually be beholden to a rookie if you don't have to be? So we don't have to be. It's the best possible position to be in. If somebody wants to come at us from a different direction, to make our team better in a whole bunch of ways, you'll have to listen. And even left the door open that if Jimmy G starts 1-3 and they start believing in the kid, see you later, Jimmy G. You're coaching somebody up just like the rest of us. Honestly, that is one of the most refreshing answers I have heard. Clearly from somebody who's in the middle of a 6-year contract to ownership, as John Lynch basically just said, going to Jed York, hey, Jed, I think we're good here. But, all those rumors and the smoke and the fire about us not truly believing in Jimmy G and not really thinking he's a long-term answer, well, we don't have to make that decision right now. And we can go ahead and use all this draft capital to win right now with Jimmy G and get this kid ready. And maybe, I'm sure he's told him that. Jed York, which quarterback they're identifying. And Jed, as you know, he's been on this show, sick and tired of churning through his front office and coaches. He believes in these guys. Go for it.
Rock and roll.
And here's one thing that I've heard as well. I'll just throw this out there as well. I've heard the Niners didn't even go to the Jets. Who knows?
Oh, baby.
That they're just like going straight to the Dolphins. Let's just get who we want. We've identified who we want. We're going. I don't know if, this is true or not, but we'll find out. We're going to find out the full on. Like, no one's ever going to admit
the draft is going to be nuts.
That they've got their guy. They've identified their guy, and he's going to be their guy, and that's it. And they went and they got it, and they needed to keep it a tight circle, but them and the Dolphins and the Eagles, and let's go. And they're like, they're as honest as possibly could be. Oh, my gosh. Let's talk about it with Drew Brees. He's part of the paparazzi now. So Drew Brees, Dennis Leary. We're going to talk about one of my favorite sports movies, The Sandlot, with him.
Yeah.
And Mike Florio to wrap it all up in hour number 3. That's how we're rolling here on The Rich Eisen Show, brought to you by our friends at NBC Sports at Peacock. March Madness has returned, and Paramount Plus is the games you won't want to miss. Watch CBS games live on Paramount Plus, including the Final Four and National Championship game on April 5th. Paramount Plus is also the home to year-round sports, including the Masters, PGA Championship, UEFA, Champions League and Europa League, the NFL, and more. Plus, get breaking news, expert picks, and highlights from all of your favorite teams with CBS Sports HQ, a 24/7 sports news network. Man, will I love watching the Masters every single time that goes on the air, sit my kids down, and also want to leave them and play golf. Visit ParamountPlus.com before March 31st to receive a 1-month free trial of Paramount Plus. That's ParamountPlus.com to receive 1 month free trial of Paramount Plus. ParamountPlus.com. Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year automatically, with no limit on how much you can earn. How amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing because of all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
We're back here on the Rich Eisen Show radio network. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Dennis Leary will be calling in hour number 2. As I went to break, for those who might be new to this program in any way, shape, or form, first of all, where you been? Secondly, I famously dropped, what was it, about a year ago? During the pandemic when we were on, I famously dropped knowledge that I had never seen The Sandlot.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, and that was one of those blind spots in our. Yep. We all have the blind spots in our movie viewing, right? And certainly everybody's been here on the show talking about their favorite sports movie, and sometimes Sandlot is thrown out there, and you guys gave me a tremendous amount of grief.
You're killing me, Smalls.
It's a good one.
Right. So I went to break saying that Dennis Leary is in one of my favorite sports movies of all time, The Sandlot. I got a look from you, but nobody else kind of got away from all of that, back in the day.
Because you've seen it once.
And Dennis Leary's outstanding in it. I mean,
he plays the stepfather.
Just like every sports movie.
He's got the Babe Ruth ball.
Every good sports movie, to me, the through line for any good sports movie, or everyone, is a father-son story of some kind. There was one in Hoosiers, even, which is my number one favorite sports story, between Dennis Hopper and his son. Yep. Right? Obviously, Field of Dreams is about the father and having a catch with the father. And then in The Sandlot, the father isn't there. The stepfather and, Smalls, right?
Smalls
is trying to have a relationship.
Trying.
And at the end, they have a catch. Spoiler alert.
Baby Ruth.
This is what I'm talking about.
Baby Ruth.
So, not all of them have to have that, but this one in particular is pretty cool. So I thought I'd throw that out there on this show. Drew Brees calling in shortly on the Rich Eisen Show. Do we have a poll question over there today?
Yeah, I threw it up. All this Jimmy Garoppolo talk. Where's Jimmy G playing in 2021, guys? So this is available on an offshore gaming if you're into it as well. These are the top contenders for Jimmy G: 49ers, Patriots, Broncos, Panthers.
Okay.
Where's Jimmy G in 2021?
Where is Jimmy G in 2021? Can I put my thumb on the scale if you don't mind?
Sure, why not?
I'm going to take the 49ers at their word on this right now. I'm going to take the 49ers on their word on this right now. Because where else would Jimmy G go? Give me those four options again.
Everyone thinks he's going back to New England.
Well, why would they do that? They've signed Cam.
Cam for 1 year.
Right, so you're going to acquire him and make Cam the backup?
Maybe.
I don't think so at all.
Denver, they're in the quarterback market. I don't think they're sold on Drew Lock. A lot of people don't think they're sold on Drew Lock. They have a lot of young skill guys where maybe they're a quarterback away. Von Miller's back healthy.
Right.
And the Panthers, they're in the market for a big-time quarterback. They've been rumored for Deshaun Watson. Not happy with Teddy Bridgewater. David Tepper wants to make moves, make splash, make headlines.
I'm just going to keep. I'm going to say the 49ers. I'm going to keep them at their word because it does make sense for them in this division where Matthew Stafford has joined, in this division where Russell Wilson still resides. I don't think he's going anywhere. You see, he's go Hawksing again. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you see him, he's now saying "Go Hawks." Anytime you see him on his Twitter feed, he's saying "Go Hawks." Who knows? But that's just something to notice. Yeah. The Arizona Cardinals keep adding people. I know that, by the way, they lost Patrick Peterson, which is fascinating to me.
Minnesota.
But you put this all together, and the 49ers cannot just decide to restart the clock with a rookie quarterback unless they truly believe in him, and then they need some form of a backup, right? You notice they kicked the doors, they kicked the tires on Joe Flacco, right? Didn't they have Joe Flacco in there before Flacco went to?
They had Flacco for a visit.
And maybe, again, after having seen Kyle Shanahan in the first segment, maybe Kyle was inspired by Flacco's elite haircut, and they go to the same sort of supercuts there in Santa Clara.
I'm guessing, Kyle, that's more than a $20 haircut.
Okay. So they need, they need to have some form of a veteran to show the ropes to some kid who's coming in, I'm gonna keep them at their word.
Okay.
I think Jimmy G's going to stay put.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but if someone throws a high 2 for Jimmy G, I think he's getting moved.
Wouldn't it be amazing? And we'll talk about this with Mike Florio in hour number 3 of this show. But wouldn't it be amazing if Deshaun Watson stays put, and it sure looks like he's going to? I mean, the latest story that came out on Sports Illustrated yesterday, Jenny Varentas speaking to an unnamed masseuse in Houston that is not part of the more than 24 lawsuits that have been filed in the civil world against Deshaun Watson. So this person says they didn't feel comfortable, I guess, signing with the lawyer who's honchoing all of this in Houston, but wanted to speak out because she thought that if Watson gets traded and moves to a different town, that puts massage therapists in those towns in I don't know if I'd say the word danger. Again, the whole situation is rife with, if you use a certain adjective to describe it, you might be seeming to soft pedal whatever Deshaun's being accused of. This woman who said in Sports Illustrated, she said he didn't touch her and he didn't demand that he touch her. And some of the charges that are being filed against Deshaun Watson say he has absolutely demanded he be touched, and other times forced a woman to touch him in ways that I'm, for a family show, don't want to get into right now. But you read it, and a lot of it does dovetail what some of the charges that have been filed against Deshaun Watson officially. It dovetails a lot of these accounts, and it's shocking. There's no other way to put it. Shocking. And if I am an owner of an NFL team and somebody knocks on my door and says, we want to give up all this draft capital to acquire Deshaun Watson, my answer is going to be absolutely no way. And you know how I feel about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about him and what I've said about him. And so the behavior that he has portrayed is shocking. I think that's a word that appropriately covers it. And I don't think he's going anywhere. Just talking football now. He goes nowhere. What if, Russell goes nowhere? What if the only people that are on the market this summer is Sam Darnold, and if you want to knock on the door for Jimmy G, the 49ers, and blow him away, that's about it. And the only people who move are Stafford, and the only people who move are Goff and Wentz. And that's entirely possible that all the chips land and that's it. And Carolina does wind up drafting a quarterback or acquires one of the two that are available, that they just knock on the door to the 49ers and say, we need Jimmy G. I don't even know if the Niners, why would the Niners, unless they're blown away and get some sort of a first-round pick replenished, why would they do that? Why would they trade him within division? I mean, within conference. Why would they do that? I don't know why. And then leave themselves completely wide open to having a rookie quarterback have to learn the ropes and be thrown in the deep end of the most competitive division in the entire league.
Yeah, no one at the bottom.
Why would they do that?
No one at the bottom of the first round really needs a quarterback, unless you think maybe the Saints give up 28 to go get Jimmy G. But if you're looking at the top,
why would the Saints do that? And again,
I know they're all in on Jameis. That's what I mean. They're kind of really the only
Taysom
one.
Hill. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why.
If the Saints thought Taysom Hill was their starting quarterback, they wouldn't have brought back Jameis.
Right. Or everybody needs options.
What about Atlanta? Would they flip 35 instead of drafting someone at 4? Would they flip 35 to San Francisco for Jimmy G? Carolina at 39. I think the 39th overall pick gets Jimmy Garoppolo. And bam, Carolina now has a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gets it done. And I think San Francisco says yes to that, especially if they're going to take Trey Lance or Mac Jones at 3 overall, which is crazy that we're talking about Mac Jones now at 3 overall. But
well, I think you have to. Did you hear what Nick Saban had to say about Mac Jones? He said if it's a good thing he didn't look at his Twitter account.
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying that he's not that, he's less than, he's not Tua, he's not Hurts, he's not this, he's not that.
I mean, he was a Heisman finalist. He was unbelievable.
No, I understand that, but he doesn't translate here. But all it takes is just one team, and it looks like the 49ers might be the ones targeting him, although Justin Fields is throwing at his pro day right now. And you know how it works at its pro day. When somebody throws at their pro day, suddenly they're at the very top of the ranks.
Justin Fields, more importantly than throwing, Rich, he just ran at his pro day. Clocked a 4.44.
Oh, my God. The Moses Malone.
Fo. I love that.
Are you serious?
This is from Albert Breer, 4.44. Another had him at 4.43. He's 6'5".
It's odd that Albert would have that time and promote it. Wow. I don't know what to make of quarterbacks who run that fast. I don't know because
it's fast, man.
Well, I mean,
that is fast.
No, I know it's fast, but you also don't want your guy running like that. Lamar Jackson, I understand, can take off from midfield, and that's what you're looking for in a quarterback.
We never actually got an official 40 though for Lamar, so we don't
I know
how
that.
fast.
But the reason why I bring it up though is we're all you're just wondering. Like at some point, you're going to have to stop running. At some point.
Yes, that's true.
At some point, the 4.4 is, might be good if you're trying to track down someone you just threw the ball to from the wrong team.
I guess. Ask Clemson, though, how good he can throw it.
Hey, and look, we're talking about how fast Trevor Lawrence can run. This is a spectacular number for Justin Fields.
Absolutely.
That is an eye-popping number for Justin Fields. Okay. So let's just throw this out there because he dropped against Clemson. The way he looked, right? Well, pardon me, the Ohio State
big Clemson.
Against Clemson, right?
Oh yeah.
He dropped in every throw possible.
Every single throw. He was unbelievable in that.
He nailed every throw in the route tree, right? Every last throw, and he does have more reps, and he does have more starts than Mac Jones and Trey Lance, right? And he does have a better track record, clearly, not just for the school, but in terms of everything from Georgia to the Ohio State, than Zach Wilson. Is it possible that by the end of all of this, the Jets wind up drafting Justin Fields?
Oh. And the Niners take Zach Wilson?
Or they don't. Because they traded up thinking Zach Wilson wouldn't be available, and they'd take their guy anyway, who they traded up to get.
Oh. I don't know.
That's the wild card in this whole thing, and we've seen it before.
Absolutely.
I've left in 2018 we left the combine saying Saquon's the guy, number 1 overall. He's going to be a Cleveland Brown. That's the end of that. And the Browns, if you recall, because they drafted first overall, they had the top pick in the second round, and we were already talking about all their draft capital. They might be able to move up and get a quarterback late first round anyway. They could have gotten Lamar and, they could have gotten Lamar and Saquon and had a day. Like literally that was a possibility for them. But they went and they chose Baker Mayfield, which was when we left the combine, would never have taken place. 40 times, though, as much as I love them, and I love them.
But they get everybody going, man.
They do get everyone going. And you do see, again, this day and age where you see Lamar winning, an MVP in year 2, and you see what Mahomes looks like, and you have to that's why everyone loves Trevor Lawrence more than anybody else. Justin Fields raises his hands and says, hey.
Mobile quarterback.
Not just mobile, he's fast. He can run away from you.
Yeah, that's breakaway speed.
But I'm just wondering again how sustainable that level of play is in the NFL, long time run. But Justin Fields is certainly now raising his hand and saying, "Hey,
don't forget.
I might be second overall too."
Yeah, don't forget about me.
All right, we'll take a break. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the show. Mike Florio and Dennis Leary still to come here on our program. Don't go anywhere. We're here live on a Tuesday on The Rich Eisen Show. Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Back here on the Rich Eisen Show, 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on the program. He is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, and I could go through all of his accolades from his playing career, but I'll just say he's here now as part of Copper Compression, but also a colleague of ours now in the media as he's joined NBC Sports. He is the great Drew Brees. How are you, Drew?
That's good. I'm good. And Rich, how are you, man? That's a crazy thought. I'm joining the media world with you, huh?
You're part of the paparazzi now, Drew. That's exactly what you're doing. But here's one of the things too is I love interviews like this because you can no longer, when I ask you about your career, say, you know what? I'll just think about it when it's all over. You can't use that answer. That answer's gone, Drew. You can't use that answer anymore. So
that's true.
What do you? I mean, do you ever? I don't know if I've caught you while driving at any point, but did you ever just look over the steering wheels you've been driving over the last couple weeks or last couple months since you knew that you were done, and just go, holy crap, I did all that. Does that happen?
There's definitely been some moments of reflection. I'd say more so in recent weeks. Right when the season ended, I try to just get away and take some time with the family, but. Certainly the announcement made it all very real, and had some time to spend with those who have been a part of the journey and kind of really put some of my thoughts on paper and just feel a lot of those emotions, and really an incredible journey the last 20 years and really beyond that too. I mean, I think part of retirement, too, is just thinking that all that has gone into that career. And so it goes even well before actually making it to the NFL. So many experiences through college and back to high school and even, growing up, what you dream and aspire to do and having had the chance to live out, those dreams in my athletic career was pretty remarkable.
So what is your proudest accomplishment? Now that you have the ability to say, I look back and I did this, because you can no longer say, I'll think about it when it's over, because it is in fact over. So what do you got for me, Drew?
I'd say one of the things that really kind of just touched my heart, especially over the last couple of weeks, is just all the people that have reached out and expressed the influence that I had on them as a teammate or a friend. During this journey, and so just having a chance to read those and relive some of those moments, and also just think about those relationships. That's really what it's all about. I feel very fortunate to have been surrounded by so many great people along the way. Coaches and teammates, friendships that I'll have for a lifetime, and just thinking back on the way that those guys influenced me and motivated me and inspired me along the way, too.
What about the numbers? Because you're going to be able to sit there on the Football Night in America set, Drew, and say, I wish I had that 17th game. You know what I mean? Like, you're all these records are going to be 16-game records that means everyone else has an asterisk next to theirs forevermore. So with the 17-game schedule coming, which of the numbers accomplishments are you most proud of that you were able to do?
I honestly, I think if you play long enough, a lot of that stuff adds up.
Right.
I really approached every season like I wanted to get better. There was I would always end each season, and before I started training that upcoming off season, I would always take kind of a hard look, a very analytical look at that previous season and where the areas that I think that I needed to improve, and then I would incorporate that into my training and just my overall thought process. And the numbers didn't always reflect those improvements, and yet I think as long as deep down I knew that I was continuing to grow and learn and get better, that's what was most important. And so what comes along with that is consistency. I think the way that I wanted to be perceived by others was they knew exactly what to expect out of me every time I stepped in the building and every time I stepped on the field, and what they were going to get from me in the game, what they were going to get from me in clutch situations. I wanted to be that consistent performer, that consistent influence. And I think that's probably, honestly, what I'm most proud of, is not any specific statistic or number, but rather the consistency that went with, my approach and the way that I looked at my job and the way that I looked at being a teammate for others.
Drew Brees here on the Rich Eisen Show. So why did you take all that time to retire? I'm sure you're aware people were wondering if you were still thinking about it. Were you still thinking about it at all?
No. I knew that was it. It felt like it was time. I just, I wanted to give it justice. I wanted to. I think everybody maybe has this image in their mind as to how they make that announcement or how it all kind of goes down, and I guess I hadn't really put a ton of thought into that, when the season ended, and so my first focus was just to spend a lot of time with my family and reflect and then just kind of let it come to me,
sure,
and not just go rush out and do something and then. Think back on it later and say, I wish I would have done it a different way.
Well, your boy Todd Durkin, who's been training you for a very long time, put that video of you pushing a sled where you damn near went into traffic, it looked like. Made us all think that you were, preparing to come back, Drew.
He stirred the pot a little bit, didn't he?
Oh, sure did. Yeah. Certainly. I thought you were going into traffic, too. So...
Yeah, me too. I'd never really gone that route. I'd never really gone down the hill. What I would recommend is going uphill first,
yes,
and then go downhill to finish it out once your legs are dead. Not sprint to the bottom and then have to struggle all the way back up. That's not the recommended route.
Yes,
I would now go.
Talk about early retirement, Drew. I mean, that was very close.
Yeah. No, but I still love to train. I still love to challenge myself. I'm having a chance to do a lot of things that I've probably been putting on hold while I was playing football. Like I went mountain biking the other day. I went skiing, doing this e-foiling, hydrofoiling stuff. So I don't know. It's I'm still going to challenge myself. I'm still going to work out hard. Still going to want to compete. Just find different ways to do it.
So, and then of course you did time your retirement to be on the anniversary of your arrival in New Orleans, and part of the thing, Drew, and I've never said this even in private, but that's the most impressive about your career is how it started and how it ended, and what you did to become a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, which nobody thought you were or had a chance to on the day that you signed with New Orleans. So I guess my question for you here is, how close were you to signing with Miami ever? Did that almost happen at all in Saban?
Well, so I mean, I'd say this. There was really two moments where I thought it was going to happen. So when I came out of college, I remember Miami had the 26th pick in the first round. And my head coach, Joe Tiller at Purdue, one of his best friends in football was a scout for the Miami Dolphins. And so they talked frequently. And that scout had told Joe Tiller that if I was available at 26, the Dolphins would be taking me.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, without a doubt, they were taking me. So when draft day came around, there were some teams that were talking about potentially taking me, maybe late first round. But I knew that kind of that backstop was the Miami Dolphins, right? So if I was still available at 26, I was going to be a Dolphin. Well, sure enough, pick 26 rolls around, and I'm sitting there by the phone waiting for it to ring, and it never rings. And they end up drafting Jamar Fletcher from Wisconsin, a DB, who was a really good DB, by the way. Picked me off a couple times in college. So I guess I couldn't fault him for that. But that was the first opportunity. And then obviously when I was leaving San Diego after my injury in 2005, really the two teams that came calling were the Miami Dolphins with Coach Nick Saban and the New Orleans Saints. And I think just on the surface, before visiting either team, before meeting with either coach, just on the surface, Miami seemed like the obvious choice, right? They were an up-and-coming team. Nick Saban, super talented head coach, handled the defensive side of the ball. I was familiar with a couple of their offensive staff. They were running the exact same offense that we were running in San Diego, which I liked. And then you're going to Miami, right? And then versus on the flip side, here's New Orleans, been devastated by Hurricane Katrina, new head coach Sean Payton that nobody's ever heard of. And so just, again, on the surface, it was like, all right, well, Miami's the obvious choice, and that was until I had a chance to really dive in and meet both sides and visit New Orleans and really feel that was going to be so much more than football. So, yeah, those were two instances where I thought Miami was really going to happen.
Drew Brees here on the Rich Eisen Show. Dennis Leary and Mike Florio coming up in hour numbers 2 and 3 right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Our radio affiliates are going to take a break in about 10 seconds time, and then a couple more minutes left with Drew Brees, which, right here on NBC Sports on Peacock, right here on the Rich Eisen Show.